Josh and I met this week and we were reviewing our website and the ads. He started to do campaigns a little different than what he's used to. Normally, we run home improvement ads for home improvement businesses or companies in home services. Typically, we are creating demand for things like roofing, gutters, solar, bathroom remodels. The ads are very different. We follow a lot of the same techniques and ad frameworks. The difference is this is really the first campaign that we've used to advertise for Astrafuse. So I'm going to put us in a vulnerable position. We have been working on the website for several years now. We have managed to just do outbound outreach on LinkedIn, cold calling, working trade shows. We have worked a Rolodex, and I'm dating myself here, but we've worked just all of our contacts. We get a lot of inbound just from our reputation. So our website has never been super important, but now that we're running ads and we're trying to broadcast us as a business, this is us really just dissecting all the pieces to our business. And I just thought it would be good to put this out into the universe to show how we work. So this call was with Josh and I just looking at everything, me sharing some thoughts and strategies that I want to explore, and then him just coaching me through like the things we need to do to be better at the ads that we run and how we should be presenting ourselves online. So my name is Chris. I'm the CEO of Astrafuse. This is unedited, uncut, just us talking about how we're trying to improve at Astrafuse. A basic breakdown or audit of like you're running ads and then we have all these surface areas publicly,
Yep.
right?
Yes.
So I'm just mapping out like when I look at an ad, these are all the things I would do when I'm interested in a product. Now I'm probably I go above and beyond on purchases. Like I might overthink things more than your average person, but this is the kind of buyer I am. So based on how I am, there are different levels, and I'm sure there are people that are more extreme than I am. Like I'm kind of in the middle, right? So there's like people that don't care; they just engage with, they like what they say, they like what they see, and they engage with it. And then there are people who are like, I like what I see, but I don't trust it, and I'm going to go verify it myself and then decide if I engage. Right?
Yep.
So what I did when we were talking earlier is I created this kind of like the outbound attempts that we're doing, and then all of the things that people are going to interact with either during like the consumption of an ad or afterwards. And I included other channels on here because this will affect our outbound email. So when I talk to Moeed about this, like these are all things that people are going to look at if they're really hooked by something we're doing, right?
Right.
And this Kenny who's calling and saying I'm from Astrafuse, well, after the call, or if they get an email from Kenny, they're gonna go look us up, right? So, but let's just talk about the ads, because initially, what it seems like is we're getting engagement on the ad itself, but we're not really getting follow through. We don't know why. It's still early. It's only been a day, so for all I know, it just needs time to mature.
Right. And even today's stats, for example, are very different from yesterday. But go ahead.
So Facebook will show the ad, and they can just click on the learn more, which goes to a page, which I just put the website on here, but I know you have your own like demo page that it goes to.
Yes.
But there's a website, there's a web landing page component to it.
That's right.
Some people are going to look at the Facebook page, and if I were to grade this, like there's nothing that is compelling about it. There's nothing that like tells me that it's real. Like it just is this huge banner, and it's like, what is it? Right? That would be my first issue with this. I'm going to annotate this real quick so I don't, oh shoot. So like if I put this here, page doesn't have any content that shows who we are, what we do, how we help businesses, or provide any other trust signals for following through with I'm going to say demo.
Right.
Right. Then the the other thing, sensitive. The other thing I started to talk about with you was that we got a message from somebody,
Right.
and I need to make sure that we always have a way to respond to messages, both with the team and with AI. So we can introduce an AI bot here that will catch people when we're sleeping. Because that message that we received, it was at 3 a.m. So it's a prime candidate for an AI to step in.
It really was.
And pick up from where it leaves off, ask some basic questions, answer some basic questions too, and then try to drive the person to book an appointment or fill out a form request or go through your demo. Like, these are things we need to think about, but these are surface areas. Like, as you go through this, these are all areas where if you go digging enough, you're going to find this about Astrafuse, and we need to improve our, like, all of these surface areas to make sure that it's consistent across all the different channels that we have. And these are just two from your ads that are like very natural in the Facebook app, right? Then the third would be the website, but the website, they're going to discover different things depending on how they engage or search. They engage, there's going to be that direct response landing page that you created that they interact with, and it's a live demo that they can go through to kind of like showcase what is it that we're doing. Or they're going to go to Google and they're going to look us up. And then we all this content on Google now that they can learn about us. And from Google, they're going to find our website, and then they're going to find us on YouTube, and they're going to find us on LinkedIn, and the list keeps going.
Yeah, it keeps going on and on.
So our job now becomes beyond just running the ads, is we need to figure out how to get more content into these channels in a consistent way. Like LinkedIn, like, I don't necessarily think that the post should be exactly the same on LinkedIn and Facebook. Consistent, but designed for the audience that's on there, right? So on LinkedIn, it has to use the brand voice. It has to be consistent with the brand. But we might talk about different things on LinkedIn than what we talk about on Facebook, because the audience is different.
Right.
Like, the mindset is different. So we might want to tailor the content to the audience in their current frame or state of mind.
Yes.
Versus just making everything the same.
Right.
So I think that the quick wins would be, we need to just start with Facebook and Messenger. And then don't worry about the website. I've been working with Moeed and Becca and trying to figure out how to just build the website in a way where it talks about everything we do. And you're already making your own landing pages. So like, we'll just let that be as it is. So I'll pause here. This is just kind of what I was thinking about when we were talking earlier. And visually, I had to look at it this way to really wrap my head around what's going on. What are your thoughts? And like, do you have any questions?
No. So on the advertising front, obviously, when we just start with the basics, which is the part that I'm most ingrained in right now, which is just the ads part on the Facebook portion, which is just a small piece of it. Yes, that portion is too early. We need to let that simmer for a few days while we keep putting different little ads and styles, and kind of like what you sent me today, the whole Craigslist ad approach I told you, all these little things, right? And keep moving. But even today, for example, just to give an example of something small, like today, we've had 2 link clicks today, and it's cost us $3 each. So it's like it has to sit there a little bit and kind of work itself in, because everything's brand new. Everything related to this campaign is brand new and has never had ads ran to it. So it's going to take it a second to find its feet. But past that, it's because the style of this campaign not being just like a regular traditional affiliate style, I think that the other components that you're pointing out, like Messenger, the page, the LinkedIn page, all that stuff, I think is infinitely more important in this setup. Where like in a normal setup, like normal affiliate setup, it does, obviously it matters, but it doesn't matter like this. This matters in a totally different way. So like you said, them going to the Facebook page that's for the business and it being completely blank is not a good sign.
Yeah.
Having like no content about what you do, no video showcasing anything you do, no post showcasing anything you do. It's just a blank page is not a good start.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, Messenger, that it did get a message but was not responded to. Now, whether that was legit or not or whatever, the point is it was not responded to because it was at a time that it didn't make sense.
Yeah, and I don't expect anybody on the team to respond to a message at 3 a.m.
I don't either.
But speed to lead is important, and I would have rather an AI pick that up and even make it clear that this is an AI.
Right.
You know, when during business hours, somebody will get back to you, type of thing.
Right. And it should be very clear that, like, yeah, you're messaging outside of business hours, but there still should be somebody there, or not somebody, there should be some machine there to catch it. Yeah, so because that is going to happen in this scenario, because it's a different scenario. And you're right. I think that due to the style of what we're advertising as well, people are going to be more investigative. It's natural. Mm-hmm. So I understand too, different products require different levels of investigation. If it's a high ticket item or if it's something like B2B, for example, I expect there to be more investigation of people really investigating what they're looking at the information, looking at the business associated, rather than if it's just a simple product like some kind of e-com off the shelf $10 viral item thrown out on Facebook. There's not going to be as much hunting down for it if it's like a TikTok drop item or something. So I do expect what you're saying to hold true with this audience, which is they're going to be a little bit more investigative, which makes logical sense for B2B. So it makes more sense that we focus not just on the ads portion, but all these other portions too.
So what, this is a lot of work to go through and try to revamp every single surface area that we have. I prefer we focus on like quick wins, and I think keeping like where I'm at right here, right?
What you have on screen. This is my take.
Yeah. So if it, give me some like action items, and even if it's for the page and Messenger, like don't worry about if it's one or the other or both. Just like rattle off ideas, and I'm going to document it.
So Messenger is really, so let's just start with Messenger because it's easier than the page, I think.
Okay.
So on the Messenger side, obviously the first thing you said, which is needs to have automated follow-ups if it's outside business hours, or even in general, it needs to have automated follow-ups.
Here, I'm going to put add AI to Messenger. It should be able to answer basic questions, ask follow-up questions, and book appointments.
Yep.
For any. Okay, what else?
The other thing is on that Messenger, one thing we need to think about too is if the user specifically requests, or should it push, I don't know if it should or should not, should it push for somebody to call like Kenny, or should it put his number in there? Should it, not his number, but the business number that forwards them? The question is, should it, I'm not sure yet if we're going to do that, but it's always worth considering because it's highly actionable that you could say, hey, call us right now.
Consider asking someone to call during certain hours and it will ring Kenny. Okay.
Also, another question is, and I've been thinking about this a lot in correlation to the content that we're talking about putting on right now. A lot of what I'm doing is specific to, say, the Wichita area, or like in the case that we're going to say Austin area. But the question is, how do we integrate that in, or is it even worth integrating in? Because like the question that you received for Messenger, or the Messenger received was, is where are you guys located? Which is somebody asking because they're saying, hey, are you guys actually local to Wichita? Or are you guys like, you know, are you guys just a national company or something? So the advantage of being in Wichita was it could respond about being, or not respond, but that was an easy layup to say, yeah, we're local because we're local to the area. I'm not sure how we integrate that on the Astrafuse page portion, or like where we integrate that or how we bring it in. But if we're advertising stuff specific for an area, it might make sense to try to integrate it somewhere else. I'm not sure how.
Yeah, so I think what we could start off with is just if somebody asks the question, like the person that messaged us or sent the message this morning, they just said, where are you located?
Right.
And I just responded to it by myself, and I just said we're in Wichita, Austin, and South Oregon.
Right. Yep.
But the product is not tied to those areas, so I don't know that I like right now. A lot of the content is not regional or it's not specific to an area.
Right.
But I think posts can be like, especially a post on Facebook can talk about Wichita area because that's where Kenny is at. And Kenny could even write something quick periodically that's like, hey, Wichita, I'm going to blah, blah, blah event. I would love to see or like meet you there type of thing, right?
Yeah.
Because eventually we'll get followers
Right.
from this.
And even if the service itself, like the Astrafuse service page itself, is non-area specific, but the ads are area specific, it'll still work just fine.
Yeah. So
So anyway, on the messenger portion, just keep the messenger straightforward. I think the two things it needs to do is auto respond and also be willing to give phone number or contact info if somebody requests it, because that's the easiest, like, what did you say, speed to lead type thing?
Yeah.
That's the fastest, because the fastest obviously is somebody picking up a phone and calling or requesting to be called. That's like the fastest way to get through.
Okay. Okay.
I would say that's my position on the messenger portion.
All right. So we'll work on that next. When it comes to content on the page, what are the kinds of things that you think that would be helpful for your ads to add those trust signals just on Facebook? Like we don't have to worry about anywhere else.
I think we need to come up with either similar to how Moeed did like an educational video as one concept, like a small string of like slight educational videos or something like that. Another one is just videos showcasing what we do more, because like the image ads I'm sending in now, they're not necessarily showcasing the product at all. They're not showcasing the system. They're just talking and just saying things like every missed call could be X amount of dollars, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're not like this ad saying, attention Wichita business owners, every missed call could be $1,000 plus job, done for you, AI receptionist, built for Wichita business. But it doesn't necessarily show them how it's set up or what the system looks like or how it works. So there could even be just a couple of 60-second long videos on the Astrafuse page that are just like a basic explainer of what we do or how it helps their business, if you understand what I mean. And I can help write those scripts, by the way, no problem, for like how it works.
I mean, if you're up for it, I would say just start recording a couple and then we'll get it posted. Okay. And you have access to posts, so like some of this you can post yourself.
But I would say it's probably worth putting it in there just to have something live, so that when somebody goes there, they see it and it says like, hey, if you're for people interested in AI call or whatever, however I'm going to do the script. But the point is it like better explains to the person what's going on.
Yeah.
So if they choose, now the question is, in those videos, at the end, should we also include a phone number?
Yeah, I mean the AI. So here's the other thing is like our phone numbers already have an AI answering for us when we can't get to it.
Right. So I'm just going to put that in there so that if somebody watches the video and calls, because I don't really care how they get in contact with us. What I care more than anything is that they do get in contact with us, like that they find a way. So I don't really care how, meaning like if they go to the page and they call us based on a video they watched of content, fine, that's great. Pick up the phone and call.
Okay, so I'm going to put a question in here. I'm going to change the questions and follow up. How should people contact us? And how do we capture all inbound requests? Messenger, phone, comments, emails, web inquiries. What I just typed out right here made me think about a conversation that I was talking about, like all of the verticals that we support, all the categories we support, and every time we add one more, the work just keeps compounding. So when we're doing home services or running lead gen campaigns, setting up a landing page for gutters and then HVAC and then plumbing and then pest control. This is the kind of stuff that I have to think about. So when people, when they find the landing page, people naturally want to contact us.
Right.
So now I have to be able to capture that. And then there are people that complain and they want to opt out. Now I have to capture the opt out, but then I also have to think about, well, what's the lead type for the opt out? And then there's like legal content that I have to manage, and that's not always the same depending on the vertical.
Right.
So like thankfully, like home services is pretty much the same across the board. But occasionally there's like a nuance in there that I have to account for. And in the consent language, we now have multiple types of consent language because we're required to by some of our lead buyers.
Yep.
So
Understood.
every time we add something new, the work compounds. And like, this is a classic example of like, we're doing it for our own page. And now we have to think about all of these different surface areas where things need to be consistent.
Right. I think we can still generate business in the moment, even still focusing on the first three. Not exclusively, but like just for a short period of time, focusing just on these first ones, which is the messenger, adding some more content to the page, and then making sure that we rotate more ads in. And also remember, on the ads front, I want to say again, new pixel, no ads have ever been ran to the Astrafuse page, and it's on an ad account that has never ran any money in its life. So all of these factors are going to constitute what most guys call a warm-up period, which is where the account has never been warmed ever. And usually when that happens, Facebook is not a super fan. They do that as a protection measure to not let brand new accounts just run hog wild. They sort of like have guys have said for a long time there's like a threshold where Facebook will kind of not limit the account, but it'll be very careful of how far it lets its reach go and all that stuff until it's sort of been verified. It's not just trying to blast spam out there. So it's going to take a couple days for it to sort of start to level out, right? And remember, I was telling you about CPMs, not to get us off track, I don't want to, but you know what? I'll just tell you what our CPMs are today for this Wichita campaign. They're in the $40 range. So it's extremely good CPMs today, like perfect, picture perfect for what we're trying to do. And we've already, like I said, we've had 2 clicks for $3.20 a piece so far. So it's coming, it's already slowly coming down. As long as we just kind of leave it alone and just slowly add new stuff to it, we should find success with it.
That makes sense. And I think what I'm trying to do is augment what you're doing, which is why I wanted to talk to you about this, is I don't want to change the spend, the ad creative process that you go through to find winners. I want to let the pixel get trained with actual data.
Right.
But they're all, what I see is all these other pieces that should be going around that ad and like supporting the ad.
Yep.
Like now that I know there's live traffic coming to the Facebook page.
Yeah.
That just kind of lights a fire in me to like go look at these other things and be like, and just ask, like, is it really going to be engaging and get people to actually want to contact us? I don't know. Like right now, there's not much to look at.
It wouldn't. In this case, it wouldn't. By the way, I was actually, let me tell you how wrong I was. Yesterday, how many clicks we had to the page? Yeah. We had 25.
25 clicks to the page. I'm gonna.
We had 25 clicks to the Facebook page yesterday.
So let's.
Oh wait, that's this week. Let me double verify yesterday. Let me 100% check. I did all week. That was all time. Okay, 20
clicks to the page. Like this is the Facebook page or the landing page?
20 clicks to the Astrafuse Facebook page.
Okay.
And we had 1 click to the landing page.
1 click to the landing page.
Yesterday.
How many impressions did we get? Does it say?
Yeah, it does. The reach yesterday, our ad showed to like 750 people, roughly.
750. Okay.
Yeah, it showed to roughly 750 people. And the frequency was 1.5, so that means that most of the people were new. Or wait, sorry, that was reach. Impressions you're asking for. I'm sorry. I was going on reach because that's the amount of people that it showed to. Impressions was more. Impressions was like around 1,100.
So 1,100 impressions and then 750 reach.
Reach, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you said the CPM was 40.
Yeah, the CPM average right now is like 45, which is super good. CPM at 45 is really good.
Okay.
That's really good. But so then let me just say, you don't have to take the stats for today, but I just want to tell you today. Today we've had 2 clicks to the lander, 5 clicks to the page.
But it's still early though. Like you gave me yesterday is like that was were these the of all time or was it just yesterday?
That was just yesterday.
Just yesterday. Okay. But then okay, so I mean it's still kind of early though. Like it's
But
only
you can see because out of roughly $45 to $50 in spend yesterday, we had 20 people click to the Facebook page.
Yeah.
20. And we had one go through the landing page. We had 20 click to the page to check us out further. And like you said, there was no content there for them.
Yeah, and that's why I think because this is going to draw in attention. Well, now we got to figure out how to captivate people to want to talk to us. And I the only way I can see that happening is with more content, looking at options for this banner to like clearly say what problem we solve.
Do you think this campaign should have ran a likes like we did to the Ember Home?
No, I don't want to overthink it. Like I just one problem at a time.
Right.
So we got a message. I'll count that as a lead. We got 1 lead in 2 days.
Right.
Even if it goes nowhere, it's somebody to talk to.
Right.
The ads, like we're still trying to figure out what ads make people want to engage with us. And then when they get to the site or to the page, like let's figure out how to make them want to talk to us. And I'll work with Kenny on some of the posts. If you have some ideas, go nuts. And then I think some of the pieces, like I just had this talk with Moeed yesterday that we recorded, and that's probably something we could post here too. Just so there's more to look at. Like, I mean, we are a real company, and there is.
I agree. I know, and there should be more content, and there should be more content for people to look at. Because, like you said, at the end of the day, we are a legit business, and we are trying to legitimately do these services. So like it doesn't, our page really needs to be a little bit more content heavy than it is right now. But I think focusing on the front 3, meaning more ads, right? Because obviously ads are important they're like the initial driving engine that brings somebody in. They're like the initial, you like to call it touch point, right? Like it's the initial touch point is they see the ad, they're interested in it, they come to the page.
Yep.
And what's happening in this scenario, at least in this call B2B scenario, is more people than not already are heading to the Facebook page, which shows me that we're dealing with a different type of person. We're dealing with somebody, like if you look at, for example, home services, it's not the same. More of the people are just clicking the link. So, but with this thing, people are more explorative and more curious of what's going on at the company level, which I think they should be. And I think we should have lots of content making them feel comfortable. Now with Kenny, I've been thinking about the recording of video. I have no problem recording video. You know that better than anybody. The issue I'm wondering is if it makes more sense to give Kenny a solid script or something solid that makes sense for him and have him record it with high def. And the reason is because he can say things like, I will be the one who shows up to your business. I am the one who answers your call. And it rings true. So when they call him, he picks up. When he comes to visit their business, he shows up.
Yeah, so and
it's stronger.
I also want Kenny to talk about Wichita because he is in Wichita area. Right. And if your ads are targeted towards Wichita, like let's lean into that as much as possible.
Great.
So after this, I know Kenny's out. He went to meet with the client, but after this, let's make sure that we get in touch with Kenny and give him some loose script to follow. Or if he wants like a dialed in script, I guess we can give him that too.
Yes.
And let's get him to record some things. We also should be using stories too. That's another format. Let's start simple. We'll do this. So first things first, Messenger. We'll add the conversational AI to Messenger. That way, like nothing slips through the cracks. and we'll have the AI provide instructions depending on time of day. So if it's after hours, it's like, let's capture your info and somebody will call you back.
Right.
If it's during business hours, we can do some other things like where we trigger some events or notifications, or we get them to call. Like we say, call right now, Kenny's available, type of thing.
Yep, totally. Or I was gonna joke and say we make Kennytron, which is like an AI version of Kenny. Yeah, Kennytron, which is like an AI Kenny.
Maybe we'll call the AI version of Kenny Lenny or something like that.
Right. It's like an AI version of him that talks to you, and like it has all his likeness and everything. No, but I do think that I honestly think, even based on how I'm looking at the campaign, like even just from the campaigns front, okay, just the Facebook front, I already see that there's light. And the reason I say that is because a $40 CPM is so good. Meaning if you can get an ad that gets, you have to like look at this from a very basic mathematical level, okay, the way I was explaining it to you. A $40 CPM, that means that for every 1,000 people we show the ad to, we're paying around $40, right? So then the click cost is calculated off how many of those people click through. So if you get 10, it was $4 a click. If you get 20, it was $2 a click. But the cool part is we're showing them for 40. There's some campaigns like in legal and stuff like that where they're expecting 180. But it's, of course, it's related to payout. But the point is they're having to pay 180, $200 to get in front of 1,000 people. So they better get some clicks because it's very costly. So in our case, a $40 CPM out the gate on a brand new everything is really strong. It's really, really strong. So now our job is to slowly bring the clicks up, right? And to get those people through and to maximize them at every position, meaning like you said, on the page, on the messenger, all that stuff. Because the point I'm making is the ads I've already set up, the way I've structured the campaign already is producing good base stats for success.
Yeah.
It's already like setting up the foundation.
The next metric we need to track, Josh, is we will need to know what it costs to acquire a customer from this, because the CPMs might be fine, but without understanding how that is working in them with cost of acquisition, then like we might be overspending for all we know right now.
True. So I'm telling you, basically, just like we just said a little bit ago, it's way too early out the gate. I know you know this too. I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but it's way too early out the gate. So the plan is to add more ads and at least try to get a couple in the door, a couple of first customers in the door, because it is going to happen. There's no question that it's eventually going to hit here and have a couple of calls come through. Because like today, 2 link clicks, either of those people, if they would have been convinced enough by the funnel or by whatever, even one of those 2 could have already been a call today. Because these are legit people from Wichita coming through that are businesses. That's what we're targeting. So it's only a matter of time. But the question is going to be, what is the service cost? What is like you said, how much income does it generate as opposed to what we spent to get there? The first one is going to be the most expensive because it's all the testing period. Then it will slowly get cheaper as our ads are dialed in and the accounts dialed in.
Yeah. That makes sense. So we'll keep at it. Let's talk to Kenny. Let's get Messenger AI set up. Let's post, even if it's one piece of content on there. Let's just put more out there and see what happens. And those ads will just be patient. Also, I wanted to quickly go over this with you too visually, because I know we talked about it, but I wanted to give you a rundown of what I put together. These are, this is like in Google Slides, it's a template that you can just type these in. Or the headlines, sublines, call to action. Becca created these like a while ago, and that other document that I gave you, it's instructions on how to use this. But what you can do is you can just like duplicate one of these slides, and if there's a different hook you want to test, you can just type it in.
Okay.
And then I have an app script tied to this, where once it's done, like once you're like ready to lock in all of them, we can run this app script and it will turn everything into a PNG, and then you can upload them.
I see.
But so these are like branded ads that you can try in tandem of the other stuff that you created to see like what actually sticks. But Becca was telling me that if we wanted to make changes to the size, because I think these are just like 1 by 1, like
which is fine.
the ratio. But if you wanted to do like portrait, or like there was another size that you wanted to do, like just let us know and we'll.
It's okay. No,
create
99% of all the ads that we run that are images are 1024 by 1024.
Okay.
They're square, just like a Instagram square.
Okay, perfect. I think that's what these are.
That's exactly what this is. It's either a 1080 by 1080 or a 1024 by 1024.
The other thing is if you have like, if you want us to source new photographs and have a system like this, this is just like something like what you would do in Canva, right? You would just go in Canva, you just fill in like what you want, and
Yep.
maybe you really don't want to move things around too much, but you can type things in, and if like this one's not working for the hook you want to try, there are plenty of examples for you to look at and test.
Right.
I also think these too, like having stats, this is great content.
Mm-hmm.
So use this as much as you want or as little as you want. I just wanted to make sure that you knew that it was an option, and I filled in some just to have.
Also, if you have any that you specifically wanted me to throw in, I wanted to give you an example between us today of the ads I'm getting ready to make that are going to go in. I have a set going in today that look like this. This is not them. This is an example one of different, but it's in our Slack to you. But I know you're going to be like, wow, that's crazy. But that is huh?
I pass no judgment on ads because
okay. So
the craziest things.
That is a ugly Craigslist style text ad, but that's the image, right? That's the image for the ad. And so these kind of off the wall concept or kind of off the wall ideas are what stick out when people are scrolling through. And they're like just scrolling their feed, and then they get hit with this Craigslist looking ad, and they're like, "What?" That's the point, right? And so, especially for these local, like AI style, makes a ton of sense. So our goal right now on the ads is we don't know what's going to work. That's the thing about ads is never assume what's going to work and what's not going to work because we don't have any idea ever. The goal is what you have to do is make drastically different ads like we talked about on creative diversity and just throw them out in batches and see what happens and pause anything that runs away and just eats budget, doesn't get any response, and then step up what does. So our goal with this right now is throw out things until we see the first lead or two come off of something. And then we're like, okay, well, we've kindled something here because we have a small winning combination of something here. And then just to keep kindling it. The only reason why also it's worth going this distance is the data that we get out of these campaigns lives with us forever, meaning like it teaches us how to do it better and better and better. So it's actionable for future reference, meaning we're starting out now cold. We've never ran ads for this. We've never ran our pixels for this. We've never set up for this. So it's going to teach us real quick. And then soon it'll be just more of a machine that we can rely on.
Yeah, makes sense.
So, but in this beginning part, it's just about coming up with new concepts. So like the ones you gave, the professional looking ones, so put them in their own ad set, put 3 or 4 in. These Craigslist looking ones, put 3 or 4 in, and just wait till something pops and hits, and then wait for it to hit at least 2 or 3 times.
Actually, you know what? Can you guide me through that? So I created these, Josh, but I did it with no strategy. I just was plugging like headlines, sub headlines, and CTAs in there, and just purposely. I think the only thing I was intentional about was doing a variety of them.
Yep.
But what I think if I were to be more scientific about this, I would use the same messaging. Like you see these first ones.
Yeah.
Like, would you include these as like, would this be like one set of tests where like, we're not messing with the copy, we're just messing with this background image, right?
Yeah, so each ad set, or at least the way that I've been doing it for my entire media career, is each concept is its own ad set. So like if you have and what I mean is a concept can be either a copy or a visual style, and the only thing you're changing is the other portion. So like in your case, you're keeping copy the same, but you're just changing the visual style in the background. So we can basically tell ourselves that we should consider that one style or one concept core.
Okay.
So that in my mind would be dropped into its own ad set, and you would give it a certain amount of variations. Now the question is how many variations? Well, how many variations do you really need to know if it's going to work or not? I would argue that at 5, if it's the same copy with slight visual changes, I would argue that 5 is enough to tell. that like
Yes, I have 6 here.
that'd be fine too. 6 is fine too. That if you drop those all into an ad set and it spends say $50 or $60, and I know that's not very much budget. That's a very small, but let's just say it spends like 100. Say it spends 100, and it doesn't get anything. The clicks are really low, the engagement's really low. You're safe to just cut it and say that message didn't resonate. So then you can just move on to the next thing. So, but let's say that you kept the background the same and you changed your copy a bunch of times. Well, that could also be constituted as its own, because you're now changing the copy. So it's one visual style, but you're changing all of the copy or the advertising that's sitting on it.
I see.
So
So where would you start? Would you start with like keeping the visual consistent and changing the copy, or would you keep the copy the same and mess with the visual?
So this is where now you become a marketer. This is where you've crossed the bridge to. You have to. This is where you go off the wall in the very beginning, until you have a concept that works. So, like in our case, like with everything I've ran, like let's talk about like gutter, for example. Tons of variations, videos, images, professional, non-professional. In that test group I originally ran, I had like 250, and they were all drastically different. So like these ones were some senior based stuff. These ones were these ones were more about price. These ones were more about scarcity. These ones were image only. These ones were videos with different hooks. Then I had a story style. Then I had long text, short text. It was trying all these different things until something started to consistently show a pattern of life that Meta liked. And I was like, okay. And then when I found that, then we started iterating. Then I started iterating on that. And I do have a bunch of proof. I iterated 50 times on that original base and found 2 more versions that Facebook really liked out of it. So, but in the beginning, you see like, this is why they say test some video, some image, some professional, some non-professional. And it depends on how much budget we want to spend, right? Because every time we throw out a new test, you're going to add a $20 a day ad set, at least at our current very small test budget. So if you toss these in, it's going to cost you a $20 bill in a day to see if people like this or not. Every time we throw something in, that's going to be the case. And that's why you're seeing me pause things too. Because if we rack up an ad set that has 20 of these in it that are all different tests and they're all ABO'd at 20 a day, highest or auto bid, we're going to spend 20 a day across all 20 of those ad sets, whether we like it or not. So what I'm trying to do is be more quick to pause what doesn't look like it's going to win and try to give any fire to the stuff that looks like it's going to with our budget. Faster.
So knowing where we are now, would this be its own ad set? This would be its own ad set. This would be its own ad set, or would these
all six of those would head into one ad set?
So, and then in that ad set, Facebook is going to like do its own rotation of these creatives, and then
we're going to set it up at $20. We'd set it up at $20 a day, push it out into its own ad set, and then at that point, even though it's on auto bid, the fact that we have all 6 in the same ad set, Facebook's going to rotate it on its own and to figure out which one it thinks is getting the best engagement.
Okay, makes sense.
So so like if you asked me today, if you said I want to put these out there, this is exactly what I would do. I'd create an ad set, put all 6 of these in that ad set, and they'd all be individual ads within that ad set, and then the ad set itself would have a $20 daily budget, and Facebook's going to decide how it wants to spend on them.
Makes sense.
So, but it's one concept that we're testing. And then we determine, does this concept work? What's the CPM look like? What does the CPC look like? And most importantly, is there anything filled out from it? Is there any conversions from it, which is the most important thing? So, but in the beginning, since we're right at the beginning, today is day 2 only, the point of getting this campaign off the ground is, we don't know if our landing page works, and it hasn't had enough data to tell. So we've only sent 2 or 3 clicks to it total. So it's too early to be like, no, it doesn't work, or it does. What we have to do is more ads and more clicks, right? We need more clicks to be able to effectively say whether something's working or not. So at this point, it's just about each day rotating a new concept or 2 into the mix. We can go faster, but that's more budget exhaustion. So it's depending on how fast we want to exhaust budget it's not really a creatives blockade, meaning like I can push out creatives and new concepts all day long. It's a matter of how much budget do we want to dedicate and spend? Because on an AVO, we're going to spend whether we like it or not. Now, in the difference of a CVO, what we would have done is this ad set you have here, or these set of ads, I would have thrown them into a running CVO, and I would have run it, and I would have put it as its own ad set still. But I would have just tossed it in there, and then if Facebook spends on it, it spends on it. If it doesn't, it doesn't, because it's competing against all the other ad sets.
You're basically letting Facebook take the wheel at that point.
That's right. You're not forcing spend through it.
Okay.
So that's the difference here at practical test.
Okay. Awesome.
So that's why a lot of times I would throw in ads and they would get no spend. Like I would build like 20 ads and they wouldn't even make a dent in the campaign because Facebook just decided it doesn't like them or it doesn't want to spend on them. So, but in an ABO test, we're forcing that spend. So it's a little bit more careful planning of how fast you add new stuff. Where on a CBO, you can just toss stuff all day long and not care because Facebook's either going to spend on it or it's not. And it may not. You may add 20 ad sets and they don't get $5 to spend in the next 2 weeks against what's already in there. With an ABO that's set on an auto bid, when you put it in there, it's going to spend. It's going to put $20 towards that or 100 or whatever you set the budget at.
Makes sense. Well, cool. Let's wrap up.
Okay.
We have our action items. I'll share that with Kenny when he gets back. It might even be tomorrow. We'll talk to him about some content. And then yeah, let's follow up on the content to get it on the page. The AI thing, I'll handle that because like I've done it a few times now.
Sure.
So I'll get something in there, even if it's simple and just it responds right away when people message the page.
Yeah.
At least something is going to people and nothing. It won't be crickets.
True. I completely agree. And all that explaining I was doing was just kind of giving you an idea of like, here's how the campaign's starting. Here's kind of the direction it's headed. And here's kind of how I'm looking at the testing for what we're doing. So
no, this is this was all helpful. I'm glad you broke it down for me again. Just because I need to be reminded of it constantly. Yeah.
Right.
This is what you do day to day. Like I hear about it maybe weekly.
Right.
And not always that often either.
Right. And this is more like a breakdown of like why I may be treating something different or like slowing it down or not like I said, for example, on this local Wichita campaign, I could have blasted already 40 creatives into that thing of totally varying styles, but we would have had to spend. So the question is, we have to offset it with our profits and what we're doing on our other campaigns and everything. It all kind of has to work in tandem. Mm-hmm. So I'm being extra careful about like, let's just blast a bunch of budget through these ABOs because they're going to spend whether we like it or not on every single variation we put in. Versus, like I said, on a CBO, it doesn't do that. It just spends where it wants. Yeah. So you can just toss ads in all day long and not care.
Well, I think we have enough work to do. Like let's just get through this week, see how it goes into next week, and then reevaluate, see where we're at, and see what we might have missed, and just keep building and stacking on top of this.
Yeah, and the most important thing, we're not at ground zero, meaning we already have, depending on how today goes, already multiple signed customers.
Yeah.
So it's not like we're trying to capture our first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the first ones were another channel, but like it all helps, right? Like everything we're doing here will help. The stuff that Kenny doesn't local.
Yeah.
But all right, Josh.
Okay.
Well, thanks for the breakdown.
Yep.
Super helpful. And then I'll follow up with you about the other things. I'll let you know when some of the work that we talked about today is done.
Okay, cool. I'm just going to stay on. The next thing I'm doing is making some more of those Craigslist looking ads to put them in.
Okay.
So that's what I'm working on right now. All right.
Good.
I'll talk to you later. All right. Bye.